These are things I noticed weren't talked a lot about when I was prepping for getting a bike and getting into my riding career and doing all the research I was doing. There was a lot that wasn't included in these items you'll need before you start riding videos. Once I started riding, I realized, like, you know, these other things like the earplugs, the camera, all that stuff's super important, especially the camera plugs. I think are things that, like, people might not think about, but they are crucial. You asked mom, and mom said, absolutely not. Your friends might have told you it's too dangerous. Maybe even your brother or sister, if they're lames, were like, no, don't do it. You did it anyway. Congratulations. Proud of you. Maybe we can start the 6 essential items video. Yo, you just got a bike. Welcome to the community, guy or lady. You're gonna absolutely love being a part of this community. But before you get knees deep in it, a couple things to go over. You can't just hop on the motorcycle and that be that. You're gonna need some things. Whee! You can't just get on the bike, you know, t-shirt and shorts and flip-flops and all and just start riding. That's what this video is for. It's going to be the top 6 essential items for, I want to say new riders, but if I'm being honest, this is the top 6 essential items for all riders, because I think if you're not new and you don't have any of these things, you should get them. First and foremost, the obvious one is gear. We won't spend too much time on this. I think there's going to be a lot of videos dedicated just to gear. I think we'll dive really deep into the gear part of it in a separate video. I kind of want to just give you the 6 items that you should have, that I think you're really going to need before you start your riding journey. Gear being the obvious one. A helmet first and foremost. Good gloves matter. You want to feel like you can articulate your fingers the right way and protected. Riding without gloves is crazy. Don't do it. The controls and everything are kind of engineered in a sense for riders to have gloves. If you try riding without gloves, it doesn't feel right. Everything feels a little too small, I guess. I'm not sure of the word, but I tried riding without gloves once and I don't like it. Even those that wear like the cheap, they're not really protective gloves, but they're at least gloves, like just something. I strongly suggest getting a regular pair of gloves, potentially gauntlets or 3/4 length. Definitely gloves, definitely helmet, definitely an upper riding garment with some sort of protection, CE2 padding, some abrasion resistance. I don't recommend NBT. There's a good reason for that. If you haven't watched that video, you're not sure why, please look. It's linked right here. I'll link it right at the top. It'll be my NBT video, so please watch that and come back to this, or come back and click on this when you're done with this video. But don't recommend NBT. But if you are going to get NBT, it's better than nothing. So I recommend something. I'm not going to say don't get it. What I will say is if you're going to spend the amount of money NBT is going to charge you, you can get some other stuff that's going to protect you just as well, if not better. All right, so that being said, shoes, gloves, helmet, upper garment, and riding pants. Preferably riding pants and not just jeans, because a lot of people tend to just wear jeans. I do it every once in a while myself. Most of the time I have my riding pants on, and I hate to admit it, but these are NBT riding pants. They weren't as disappointing to me as the hoodie was, but for what I paid for these, they are still not up to par, comparatively speaking, with other things on the market you can buy for the same price, a little less, even stuff that's a little more expensive but significantly more protective. So always have some sort of protection, obviously. Second, this is something no one talks about, and I don't understand why, and I don't know a lot of riders that ride with these, and that kind of blows my mind a little bit. I will say the guys that seem to ride with this the most, and I'll tell you what it is in a second, the guys that seem to, or the people that seem to ride with these the most, are the more experienced riders, maybe guys with loud pipes, but this changed the riding experience for me completely. And as far as bang for your buck goes, this might be the biggest change in how you ride compared to what you're spending for them, and that's earplugs. Yes, earplugs. People like to ride with headphones in. That's crazy, but I get it. That probably will do the same thing, but you don't want to do like noise canceling headphones, you know? You kind of just want to have regular headphones in that will protect you. I don't know how you can fit headphones over. My buddy does it. He puts his headphones in and he puts his helmet over it. That to me is got to be painful. But I have a Cardo system with speakers in the helmet, so I don't need headphones for music or for communicating. I wear decibel reducing earplugs, and There's a misconception, I think, sometimes where people think it's just blocking out all sound. And how could that be safe? That's not the case. The earplugs are specifically designed to deaden the decibel level. So instead of you hearing things at, say, 130 decibels, whatever the type of earplug you get, depending on the rating they have, it'll lower that to, say, 60 decibels. You still hear everything. I still hear everything on the road. But with the wind noise, you'll realize when you start riding, like, wind noise is a real thing in your helmet, especially if you don't have a Shoei. Most other brands are pretty loud. Shoeis just happen to be pretty insulated and secure and well made, so the wind noise is a lot less. And even with that, I still have a good amount of wind noise. For one, to get back to the point, it doesn't block out all noise. All it does is block out the loud, high pitch ends of the decibel range. If you have an exhaust like I do, what a difference that makes. The exhaust note will reverberate inside my helmet otherwise, and it's ear piercing. One, it's going to damage your hearing over time, but two, having the earplugs in, it changes your focus. I don't know how else to explain it other than it eliminates all distractive noises, and anything that matters you can absolutely hear. Cars, horns, engine noises, tire screeching, braking, your engine and exhaust. I can even hear, I didn't have this oiled, my clutch at one point, and it was making just a little bit of a squeaking noise, and it was driving me nuts. If you watch back some of my other videos, it just would go like squeak every time I would pull it in to shift. It's not a loud noise, but I could easily hear that with my earplugs in, just to give you an idea. But it literally, it changes everything, and it's like the Matrix. It just makes you whoosh, like zone in. You only hear the essential noises, eliminates distractions, protects your hearing. Exhaust note on the bike sounds better because it's slightly muffled, and the way that sounds is it's just great. So I will stand by this as long as I ride. How do I put this? The thing that will impact your riding the most for the smallest amount of money or resources is earplugs. They are game changers. If you don't ride with earplugs, start. What do you got to lose? Go buy a pack for cheap, put them in, and try them out. I cut mine down because they're a little long sometimes, so when you put the helmet on, the helmet will want to drag them down and kind of pull them out of your ear. So I cut them in half lengthwise and put them in my ear like that. It just makes such a big difference, man. I can't recommend it enough for all riders, new and old. If you're not doing it, just try it. You'll never go back. There might be the rare case, but I can almost guarantee you once you start using these, it's like, damn, how did I ride without this before? That's how I felt, at least. Okay, now hopefully some of the things I've included here are stuff that's not on your standard 6 essential or 5 items you need to ride, like those basic videos everyone does. I want to do things that I think people don't really think about often, because otherwise I'm not unique. What am I doing to be different? And I do believe these aren't your run-of-the-mill items that people are going to talk about. I'm not just making this video because I think, oh, I'm going to be different and just say some weird stuff. I truly believe these items are things that are essential for a rider. Obviously, the gear is something everyone will tell you. Do a deeper video on that than earplugs. So item number 3, I would categorize it as a security mechanism of some sort. If you don't have a garage to put your bike in, I would strongly suggest getting a motor tent. I'll show you on the screen what I bought, because I have a garage in the back, but I technically can't use it at the moment. So what I've done is I've gotten a motor tent for bikes, and that's what the bike's in right now. So I have the motor tent, which you want something that's protected, not just a cover. You don't want just a motorcycle cover. The cover's not going to protect it to the level you think it might. You can get some really good high-end covers, and they'll do a lot better, but having a tent that you can lift, so mine, it lifts up, you can drive into it, or ride into it, I should say, and then close it over it. It can be bolted into the ground, so it's a more semi-permanent structure, and it creates an environment for the motorcycle with some venting that lets moisture get out, helps prevent the elements from taking its toll on the essential components on your motorcycle. It's as close to a garage as you can get without actually having a temperature controlled garage to put your motorcycle in. That's very important. In conjunction with the motor tent, I think even if you're going out on long rides or you're going to work for the day and you're going to park it somewhere, I've already had a couple people just in my comment section tell me stories about their bikes getting stolen from their place of work in the parking lot, and they don't have security devices on it. I recommend a brake disc lock. That's what I use currently. They're one of the most affordable, I would say, cleanest, affordable ways to secure your bike. If someone really wants to steal your bike, they'll figure out a way to do it, unless it's like a Ducati or something super valuable. Once it's covered, I think there's a statistic that shows thieves that are going to go steal a motorcycle, ones that are covered or in a motor tent, the rate goes way down of those being stolen, because that's just an extra step that the thief has to do. They can't see openly what it is that's in there. They have to go open that, and then once they do that, even if it's something they like, if you have a brake disc lock on it, you get one that comes with an audible alarm. It locks the front brake. They won't be able to move the bike anywhere. So they would literally have to carry it and load it onto something, and they need a few people to do that. If they really wanted to get crazy, they could take the front wheel off. But again, now we're talking all this extra effort they have to go to. If I was a criminal, I would be like, yeah, let's just find something else that's easier to take. Because the other part of the advantage of having the brake disc lock is it comes with an alarm on it. So the way mine works, if you move the bike once or it senses any movement, it beeps a couple times to let you know it sensed that movement. So that'll scare them off hopefully right away. If that doesn't scare them off, if another movement happens or it senses any vibration within 15 seconds of that first initial contact or movement, it starts with I forget how many decibels it is. Let's call it 150 decibel alarm sound. It's battery operated. The batteries last forever. I test it every now and again to make sure it's still working, but that will alarm. As soon as that starts going off, 99% of people are going to bail unless they're sure nobody's home. In that case, if they're that determined, they're probably going to take the bike regardless. So the brake disc lock is super, super important and will make all the difference in someone taking your bike or not. If you can only do a cover, do a cover, but strongly suggest the motor tent, we'll call it. I bought a Vivor. I can't recommend them enough. I didn't get the high-end one. I kind of wish I did, and I'll probably put on the screen what I bought so you can see it. And just for reference, everything I'm telling you about is available linked below. They are affiliate links for transparency's sake, so if you do buy them through that link, it will help support the channel. So I do technically get something out of it. The payouts are like so minimal, it's not going to make me rich, you know what I mean? If you're going to buy this stuff anyway, it will help support the channel. So if you do that and buy it through one of my links, thank you in advance. It's appreciated. As long as you're aware of these, save this video for the future, and when you want to buy it, buy it. When I'm filming this, Black Friday is a week or so away by the time I post this, so I will post everything that I bought with links to Amazon, and then also duplicate links to Revzilla. I'll put both links for each product below, depending on your preference. Some people don't like to support Amazon, which is totally understandable. So I did give everyone an alternative there. So again, everything's linked below. Appreciate the support. Appreciate you watching. Let's get back to the list. So we did gear, earplugs, cover for the bike, storage / security solution, we'll call it. I'm not good with the corporate buzzwords when I'm not at work. Number 4. Let's get back to riding. We'll talk about number 4, 5, and potentially 6. Let's get rolling again, huh? And then we'll start chatting. Number 4 on our list is going to be maintenance tools. If you're getting a bike, odds are you're going to want to do some maintenance yourself. Not everyone can do everything on a bike. Not everyone's equally mechanically inclined, I guess is a way to put it. I'm more than willing to work on my bike to an extent. When it comes to something that's a little more invasive, even that stuff I'd be willing to do on my own. First and foremost, you should always have an owner's manual to your motorcycle. So if you just bought your bike, congratulations again, awesome. But if you did just buy it and it didn't come with an owner's manual from the previous owner, go online and get yourself a digital owner's manual. I downloaded a PDF for the Ninja 400. It was free. It took a little searching to do, but people post them online. You can buy one from the manufacturer website if you really want to get the official and feel confident that you're getting the right one. By all means, feel free to do that. I would suggest finding a free one. There's no reason to pay for that, in my opinion. And in that, it will tell you the size of, at least for the basic stuff, the nuts and bolts, and the size tools you should need. As far as like maintenance tools, if you're going to want to get things that you can use in a pinch, get a wrench that fits your oil drain bolt, because you're going to want to do oil changes. I strongly suggest just doing oil changes yourself. They're so easy to do. And in order to do those oil changes, you need the wrench for the bolt that will undo the drain so you can drain your oil. There's likely going to be Allen screws all along the bike, your mirrors, adjusting your clutch and your brake lever. These are Allen keys. You're going to want to do adjustments to your bike first and foremost. So you're going to need to adjust your clutch lever. You're going to need to adjust your brake lever. You may want to replace your mirrors or replace the windscreen, do an oil change. All those things are going to require tools. So get yourself a basic toolkit. Most bikes will come with one. If you're not aware of it and you're near your motorcycle while you're watching this or after this video, go to your bike, open your seat. Usually there's a key spot in the back. You put the key, turn it, take off the back seat, and then in the back seat there's a little pull lever to pop out the main seat that you sit on when you're riding. And when you do that, you should find a small toolkit. I know that Kawasaki does it. I think pretty much all manufacturers do it. There may be some that don't. If you're aware of those, comment below. If it's not there, likely someone took it out already and never put it back. For your very basic tools, you should already have one that comes with the bike. So something people are not always aware of. But I would still suggest buying a separate batch of tools for the bike. That's just me. Get some better quality stuff, some things that are easier to manipulate. But something for your drain bolt, for your oil drain bolt. You're going to want stands for your rear at least, because any type of maintenance you're going to do on the bike, oil changes included, you need the bike to be level and stationary. You can't just use the kickstand for that. And it also lifted a little bit, making it easier to work underneath. Definitely get yourself some stands, get yourself some Allen wrenches that fit your bike. And again, the owner manual is the place to start, I think, for a lot of that, and that'll give you all the specs and information you need, the tools you're going to need, and you may just kind of figure it out as you go, like, crap, I got to work on this, what size is this, let me figure. You don't necessarily have to do it ahead of time, but eventually you will need it, and when you do, check the owner's manual to see the specs you need, is what I would say. Maintenance tools, very important. Number 5. This one is so basic and kind of maybe not something everyone would think of, but get yourself some dang Honda polish, okay? You can get yourself an equivalent cleaner, but the bug guts, whatever's in bugs, it freaking fuses itself to your your visor. It really does. I use Honda polish. I watched a video back in the day where the guy strongly suggested it. I was like, I'll give it a shot. I use Adams polish for cleaning stuff. I use cleaning, that kind of cleaning stuff for cleaning the bike. This Honda polish works absolute wonders when it comes to getting the bugs off your visor at the end of a long ride. And even if it's not a long ride, depending where you are, you're gonna have a ton of bugs on your visor. So this is a quick one, but I strongly recommend getting Honda polish or something like it. See what else is out there. But definitely get something like Honda polish. You're not gonna regret it. Trying to sit there and clean off your visor with water and a rag's not going to cut it. Trying to do it with alcohol, probably not the best because it will fade the plastic and it'll make your visor hazy over time. So really what you want is this Honda polish. If you have something hydrophobic, by all means use hydrophobic stuff, because that's going to help when it's raining, and it's also going to help the bug guts come off easier when you go to clean them off. So, number 6. Another thing people don't talk about a lot. Oh, GTI for sale. I suggest getting a camera. People might not think about that, or maybe you do because you watch YouTube videos and you're like, oh, it'd be cool to do that. Even if you don't plan on making or recording footage for social media, whether that's IG or YouTube or TikTok or whatever it is that you fancy, even if you don't plan on making videos for that, I couldn't suggest getting a camera more. If you're not going to do vlogging or content, you really don't need to do the whole vlog setup. You don't need to get a mic. You don't need to get all that. The camera has a mic on it if you really needed it. If you're not vlogging and you don't want to hear yourself talk on camera, nope, easy buddy. Really thought about it. They got jumpy. You don't need a mic in the whole vlog setup is what I'm trying to get at, if you don't plan on vlogging. But if you just want to ride, getting an action camera is such a useful tool, and here's why. One, so many things happen on the road that you want to remember, or you might want to go back and watch if you're telling somebody oh, you're not going to believe what I saw, or there was a car accident, or something funny happens. Just being able to go back and watch the footage, for one, is fun. So it's useful in that regard. But really, the true benefits of having a camera are twofold, in my opinion, besides the fun part of it. Learning and protection. God forbid you're in an incident or an accident, having your camera on to show you were not in the wrong is really going to come in handy. It's going to be such a big deal for you if, God forbid, you're in an incident of some sort. We won't get into detail how bad of an incident. This is a hypothetical situation, but if you are luckily able to walk away from it, even if you're not, but you made it and you survived, when it comes to the police and insurance and all that, having footage and dash cam footage, like if you're in a car, or riding footage, is going to be huge for you. Like, that could make the difference in you having to pay out, your insurance having to pay out, or their insurance, or you getting reimbursed for the total of your bike and all your medical bills, or not. And that could be life-changing, honestly. It really could. So first and foremost, protection in that regard. I couldn't recommend a camera more. Secondly, for learning, if you made a mistake while you were riding and you realize, like, ooh, I shouldn't have done that could have been bad, or what am I doing wrong when it comes to rev matching? You know, there's a million things you can kind of review the tape and watch the replay. Think about football teams. They play the game, they have a bunch of good plays, they have a bunch of bad plays, and in order to eliminate the bad plays, when you're in the moment, it's hard to remember exactly what's going on. You're focused on avoiding obstacles, riding safe, shifting, keeping a safe distance, scanning and surveying, covering your brake. There's a million things going through your mind. You're not going to necessarily be able to replay things back in your head like they actually happen, but if you can go back to the footage, you can see exactly what happened, or what you think you did wrong, or maybe you thought you weren't going that fast going into the turn and you almost lost it. When you watch back the footage, you see your speedometer says, I was actually like 10, 15 miles over what I probably should have been doing. The lessons you can learn from that are invaluable. So if for no other reason than learning and protection, get a camera. You don't need a mic for that stuff. You don't need a vlog setup. You don't need to go through all you need is an action camera like the Akaso. And this is not an expensive item, by the way. You can get an action camera for less than almost anything else. The only thing cheaper than the action camera, entry-level action camera on my list right now, I think, is the earplugs. The earplugs, you can get like, 300 of them for 20 bucks or 10 bucks, something like that. You can get yourself an action camera for like 50 bucks. A 4K action camera for 50 bucks. And I know that because I did. I got myself an Akaso EE7000, I think it was. I'll double check the name. I forget now because I've had the DJI for like a year or two now. So, but my first camera that I got was an Akaso. There are other brands similar to it. It's, yes, a Chinese brand. The materials are somewhat cheap, but it freaking works. It works great. You get decent footage. It films in 4K. You don't have the options and features you would on like a camera like a Insta360 or GoPro. But I would argue, as stripped down as the Akaso can be, and they have more expensive versions for like $100 that really have kind of all the features you would want, as stripped down as they can be, quality wise, they're not much worse than GoPro, because GoPro has taken a crap the last 5 years or so, which is why I haven't bought a GoPro. I've heard so many bad things about them. So you don't need to spend $400 to $500 on a crap GoPro, or $300, $400, $500 on a DJI, which I recommend, or an Insta360, which I also recommend, or the Insta360 action camera. That's not the 360 camera. Those are all great quality. They're expensive. You get what you pay for in a sense. But with Akaso and cameras like it, you get everything you need to be able to record your rides for your protection and to learn from your mistakes. 55 bucks, I think my camera was, in 4K. You really can't beat that. And it's very easy. You record, you get a little, it comes with a mount. You might just have to buy a chin mount, which is also like 20 bucks. You can buy on chin mounts. I'll put that in the description below as well. And I have a link for that. You buy a chin mount, you buy the Akaso. The Akaso comes with the mounting hardware you need. And then you just connect it to the chin mount, which is like some 3M tape, 3M adhesive that goes right on your helmet. It literally takes a couple minutes to set up, and then you download the Akaso app or whatever camera brand's corresponding app, and then you can download the footage directly to your phone after you're done riding. It takes a few minutes to download, and now you have it stored in your camera. And you create a folder. If you don't want to stock up all that footage or save space, if nothing happens on the ride, you delete it. If you thought it was a ride worth saving, you save it. And you can buy yourself a little flash drive if you really want to, plug in your phone and offload it if you don't want to take up too much space. The camera is such an underrated thing, just like the earplugs. I think people think like you have to have a YouTube channel or a social media page to do the camera thing. You should probably have that no matter what. That's just my opinion. I think it's a no-brainer, and I think there's no reason to not. So, recap, we have the helmet / gear, earplugs, our security and safekeeping of our motorcycle, Honda polish, and we have the action camera. Oh, sorry, and your maintenance equipment and your tools. Those are the top 6 essential items for all riders. And this video is geared toward newer riders, yes. However, I think all riders should take advantage of these items, and if you don't have them in your stable of items, these are 6 items other than like riding gear. I don't think you're going to hear a lot of other people say on their videos as essential items for new riders and all riders, but these are things I noticed weren't talked a lot about when I was prepping for getting a bike and getting into my riding career and doing all the research I was doing. There was a lot that wasn't included in these items you'll need before you start riding videos. And once I started riding, I realized, like, you know, these other things like the earplugs, the camera, the maintenance tools, the security system, like all that stuff's super important, especially the camera and the earplugs. I think are things that like people might not think about clearly, but they are, in my opinion, crucial. And I think are only going to help you become a better rider and have a better riding experience. Again, everything I've discussed here, I will have linked below. So if you want to just explore and click on the links and see some of the items I'm talking about, I have the stuff linked that I bought myself personally, so you can see exactly what I have and use. And from there, you might like a different brand, you might like other stuff, but just consider getting some of these things before you start riding. And if you're already started, you don't use earplugs, you don't have a camera, consider getting it. The price of entry is fairly affordable. It really isn't that expensive for a lot of these. Now, things add up, I understand that. And this is a hobby that costs money, so you're going to need to spend some money. But the most important things to me, besides the security system and the helmet and the gear, which is stuff you're going to get regardless of whether you watch this, at least the helmet and gear you'll get regardless of whether you watch this video or not, are the earplugs and the action camera. And I think you could get both of those and spend less than $70, especially with Black Friday coming up. If you're watching this at the right time, or any other holiday sale that's around the corner, take advantage of that. You can get it for even less. You can get yourself a good camera, earplugs that'll last you for a whole riding season in one purchase for probably $60, and it's all going to be good quality, especially nowadays. All right, I think we're in the drawbridge, or the covered bridge, I guess you should say. We're in the covered bridge, and I think this is a good time to wrap this video up. Hope you found this useful. Would really love to hear your opinion on some of these. These are not your standard items. Like, do you wear earplugs already? And if you do, please let people know how much of a difference it makes. And if you don't, start. If there's any items you would like me to cover on a separate video that I may have missed, or you want other riders to know about, especially new riders, definitely put them down below. What a cool little road I found. Not one I can rip, but definitely interesting. Like always, I think I like to end every video with telling people to gear up and ride safe. So, thank you all for watching. Appreciate you. What is that? What are those? All right. I think that's going to wrap it up. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought about the list. Anything on there you didn't expect? Anything not on the list that you did expect? Do you wear earplugs? If you do, let me know what you think. Do you agree with my take on the earplugs and the action camera? If you want to see more content like this, consider subscribing. If you're already a subscriber, consider being a member. Appreciate all y'all, like always. Thank you for watching. Ride safe. I'll see you guys on the next video. See ya. We gone. So you have your helmet / gear, your earplugs, your maintenance equipment, your tools, which is your maintenance equipment and tools, the Honda polish, and your action camera. Number 5. I don't remember number 5, so I'm going to have to think about this for a second. Cut this part out of the video. Number 5. Next one, we'll call it number 5. Number 6, I'm going to say number 5 and number 6 in case I fucked up and lost count. Number 5, number 6. Just pull over to take a picture. This is here, I don't know what it is, but it looks pretty cool. It's like an amphitheater with a little fire pit. I don't know, they do shows there or something. Very weird, in the middle of the woods type stuff. I feel like maybe I shouldn't stick around for too long. Y'all know what movie I'm talking about when he's like, squeal like a pig, boy. That's what this feels like.